everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Geek Bytes podcast. I am Ramon Mejia here, and this guy is...
I'm Edgardo Acosta. Did you say we're here?
I'm Ramon Mejia here. I'm used to saying that alone on the Little Bit podcast. I got a little too enthusiastic there.
I'm Ramon Mejia. Here I am.
Episode number 146 of this particular podcast. Every week on the podcast, we bring you the round of the week's best geek and tech news. We discuss that news and, of course, anything else we happen to be interested in this week. Of course, we're going to talk about some great stuff, including...
Nintendo Cardboard, the Dark Crystal, the Voldemort movie, a Nebula Power Ranger dance, the movie trailer showdowns, and much more.
That's right, much more.
Energy.
Okay. But of course, we begin our show, though, with geek news. It works. It really does.
I just need my little Mario gloves and overalls.
And of course, our first story is going to be some great gaming news. This was a little bit weird, but it was definitely kind of fun as well. Nintendo has long been a very quirky manufacturer and game designer, and this week they decided to buck the trend again and produce, they plan to produce a relatively inexpensive way to expand the usefulness of their current console title, the Nintendo Switch. They are actually planning to sell for about $60 to $70 a kit of cardboard stuff that will expand the use of your stuff. You get a kit of cardboard and you fold it in different shapes, and these different shapes will actually combine with the Nintendo Switch controllers and also the tablet version of it to do different things, such as fishing, making robots that actually move, a piano of sorts, which is like a small version of it. There's actually a whole video that they have while we're playing. But I think this is kind of a very interesting way for Nintendo to expand its property's usefulness. I really never would have thought they would have done something like this. What do you think about it, man?
It's cool. It's almost like the way the Lego system, before it was just basic block buildings and, it's up to your imagination. Then it came out with Mindstorm, where they actually put in integrated moving parts. And some people have created amazing things, everything from like a really cool roller coaster to a camera devices on it that actually can solve a Rubik's Cube. Now with the Nintendo Cardboard, I was thinking cardboard. I'm all like, are they going in the route of the
Google Cardboard?
Yeah,
I think they're actually were inspired by the transformative effects of Google Cardboard, and that it's literally just a piece of cardboard that you fold in a specific shape. But when you add in your phone, it becomes a kind of half-baked virtual reality headset because the phone does all the hard work. And in this case, I think they were almost inspired by that and like, oh, we can do more because we have a better product, but why stop at just like a VR headset and do so much more? And as we're watching like the video for the video version of the podcast, we see like actual fishing line things
moving
and
mechanics.
Yeah, and like houses and just like things you can do like to press buttons, and it's like even like a modular robotic system or a car driving system made out of cardboard, and there are actual things you're doing with the Nintendo Switch, as in the video tablet portion of it, to either play games or to interact with these cardboard portions. So I'm like, it's really kind of a very innovative way of like doing this kind of stuff. It's like it's very genuinely like interesting and fun.
Exactly. That's the main thing with Nintendo. Nintendo makes it fun. Because before, don't get me wrong, everybody gets lost into the world of just being in front of a screen and just playing into the virtual world. But actually now having something physical that you yourself can actually build and play, that's awesome. Now it's just a matter of they're going to connect with other like licensed titles things. So who knows if you'll create your own little Mario character or your own little whatever device on it. But so far, just looking at it, everything looks awesome. I'm surprised though they're actually going the route of cardboard, because obviously that would be more convenient for a lot of people.
Well, even just like the shipping version is like cheaper. It's like you don't have to depend on like these expensive like I don't know $30, $40, $50 peripherals. It's like for $50 you get like 6 projects.
Exactly.
And something you can do with the kids, and that's kind of where they're emphasizing as far as like the video goes, like parents hanging out with their kids, doing these things, putting them together, getting creative and like making them your own. But at the same time, it's also a test market for like what other cool things can we do with this, and let's see what the users can kind of come up with. You know what I mean?
Totally. Because I'm thinking the next step, and that's up to people if they want to, and I wouldn't doubt it'll be happening, is applying the cardboard, probably change the little bit of the connecting features, but go 3D printing.
Yeah, I mean that's an option. I think that the cardboard is definitely a cheaper option. Like, let people figure things out, because then at the same time, like actual designers can figure out new ways of using cardboard to make new products, and that almost becomes a DIY maker session with your like Nintendo Switch. Like, so there you go. So fun stuff though. I thought it was kind of cool.
Great way to think outside the box. Literally.
Okay. In other entertainment news, we have The Dark Crystal. Apparently, it's going to come back to theaters. It's been 36 years apparently since the thing's been released. Danny Martinez in the chat room says, "Dang, Pats." I don't know what that means. Sorry, Danny. I may be talking about the Nintendo stuff, but
yeah, hopefully. Yeah,
but man, thanks. But the Dark Crystal is coming out. Apparently, it's going to be in theaters in the United States for February 25th and the 28th, which is like a weird skip there. I'm not going to know about the 25th through the 28th, but whatever. Still, I wasn't old enough, I think, to see this movie in theaters when it came out originally. Are you a fan of The Dark Crystal, man?
I saw it because I was, that and what's it? What's the other
Labyrinth?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Labyrinth I would love to see in theaters. That's such an amazing movie. The Dark Crystal is fun, but it's all puppets, and so that for some people creeps them the heck out. But for other people, it's a weird combination of live action and fantasy, because all the puppets are real. They're not CGI. This is in a time before CGI was really a big thing. But there are also limitations in movement and what these characters can do with actual puppetry. But some of it's really beautiful.
And if I'm right, I think that it was what came out, somewhere in the 70s, maybe 80s?
Yeah, it was a combination between, like, who is it? The Muppets creator,
Jim Henson,
and some other guys who were like just in
But it was a trippy movie. Honestly,
it's kind of scary for kids. I think.
Oh yeah, especially the Sykes. The Sykes freaked me out,
and
man.
There was such an interesting combination. Like, they were genuinely scary creatures because they were real, and you could see the leather and the feathers and the costumes.
Walked. There was no strings. There was no somebody with their.
But
that's
that's definitely a huge production compared to having somebody wear like a green costume with like white, ping pong balls on them.
Pretty much, and remember they are doing either a sequel, right? A sequel for Netflix?
I think that, you are correct. Yeah, so this might be something that's leading into that.
Yeah, so I've seen it. It was trippy. It did have the scary moments. So I could only imagine watching them as a kid. But we'll see how the sequel goes.
Would you go to the theater to watch it?
Not really, to be honest. I saw it once because I saw it just to get it over with, and then of course Labyrinth. I liked it because of course David Bowie made it.
Yeah, I would definitely go see Labyrinth in the theater again any time whatsoever. Yeah. It's a good movie that has a bunch of like real human characters combined with the puppetry that gives it to me a little more life.
Yeah, because this one was just a little slow. It was just like the music was like, honestly, it would have been just a lullaby for me.
Yeah, it's just hard. I mean, it's just hard as a fantasy story to get emotive qualities out of these like wooden looking puppets. Like, they look very interesting. It's just that there's a step between that and Labyrinth that I think Labyrinth does a better job. Yeah. Okay, in other entertainment news, we actually have a Voldemort movie. That's for reals. It came out. You might have seen the Kickstarter version of this and the trailer for it. It has actually been finished. You can go watch it on YouTube. We have a link in the show notes for you to go check it out. It's called Voldemort: Origins of the Heir. It's an unofficial fan film that has great fanfare. It's a 42-minute film. This is information from The Verge. They loved it a lot. It's basically the story of an original created character, Grisham McLaren, who is the heir of one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts, Godric Gryffindor. The movie plays out in flashbacks. McLagan, which sounds like a weird name. McLagan is captured and interrogated at the beginning of the film. As she questions, we get bits and pieces of the mystery that she's trying to solve, and it turns out she's on the hunt for Tom Riddle, who she knew as a student at Hogwarts, and whom she suspects is involved in the death of the wizard named Hepzibah Smith, a descendant of the Hufflepuff family. Even though she knows Riddle's hunger for power, she tells her interrogators that she believes he can be redeemed. Apparently the story is gripping, and it comes with an unexpected twist. So remember that within the Potterverse universe, Voldemort, or as Tom Riddle, is collecting heirlooms from the original founders to put as his Horcruxes. And so this is part of that lore and that story. So it's, to me, a very interesting movie. A lot of special effects in it as well.
Yeah, it sounds really cool because that was the part in the Harry Potter that I didn't understand because the whole how do you pronounce it?
Horcruxes?
Yeah. Okay. Like each one, of course, you had the Fang, you had the book, you had I think it was like a crown.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the earliest versions of the Horcrux when he's a student and he's creating these items to gain a measure of immortality, or almost like second lives.
Yeah.
But later on, after he leaves the school, he goes on and starts collecting items from the original founders as his other Horcruxes. He believes, one, they're powerful items, so no one is going to destroy them.
Yeah.
People are more likely to use them, and so which makes them more likely to survive and give him the immortality that he wants.
Yeah.
But again, very interesting fan film. I'm genuinely surprised that nobody's sued them out of existence. But apparently, the J.K. Rowling was like, "Oh yeah, this is the fan film. We'll let it go." Yeah, like I have plenty of billions. I think we can let these kids tell a good story, and I think that's a good way to go because that was kind of what the limiting factor for Star Wars for a very long time, in my opinion, is that. George Lucas had such a tight rein on the intellectual property that even though people were willing to make movies and have great stories that are independent of his thoughts, nobody could because he was very litigious about anybody doing anything with his property.
Yeah.
But Disney's like, nah, come on, guys, give me stories, give me directors, and we'll make billions. And that's what they've done. And I think that's a good way for this particular franchise to head.
Pretty much how Last Jedi is. Could only wonder what the next one is. And of course, you got those additional 3 that are coming out.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of stuff. Like Disney's not afraid to give people chances to tell their own stories, and I think the fans are more than happy to see as much as possible. So there you go. Okay, let's see. In other entertainment news, this one is a little spoiler apparently. Joel Kinnaman, aka Suicide Squad's Rick Flag, might have spoiled the return of a character in Suicide Squad 2. So if you don't want spoilers, you can mute it for a few minutes. We'll wave at you to let you know when it's time to come back. But according to a photo he uploaded on Instagram, you apparently see a character that was supposed to have died in Suicide Squad 1. These guys are working out. Can you figure out who it is? Or did you already read the story?
I'm reading a little bit on it, but yeah, I was wondering because I thought he got... Not the explodey neck thing like the way thing, but the way he to me got evaporated.
No, he did. The actor D. Hernandez, El Diablo, is in the picture where Diablo in this picture working with the other guys in Suicide Squad, including Captain Boomerang. And apparently the rumor is that he's going to be making a reappearance in Suicide Squad 2 in some shape or form. We don't know if it's going to be a flashback or if it's an actual full-on character, but according to, if you've ever seen the movie, he dies, like spectacularly.
He was my favorite character in it because I was like, oh man, this guy became from badass to awesome.
You see him turn into this Aztec kind of like god,
fire god. Oh my god,
yeah, and it's like it's pretty awesome. I mean, to a couple Hispanic guys, like,
man. He was awesome. I was like, oh my god, I thought I was like, oh, okay,
they got fire powers.
Yeah, I thought I was like, oh, he's a stereotypical cholo, like but then not the flame tattoos, but the skull tattoos,
and he sacrificed himself.
Oh yeah.
Quick shout out to Matthew Dennis McMillan,
who joined the
video. Yeah, man.
Hopefully we'll get you on the show someday.
Even if it's just a video, dude. But yeah, we're watching just like the end death scene of that particular character. And it seems very much that he sacrificed himself to save everybody and to kill like the big villain. And if he's coming back, I'm not sure how. Like maybe he's an immortal, maybe it's like Ghost Rider. And like he essentially is an immortal incarnation
goes into somebody else
of the character in some way, shape, or form, or he just may like resurrect like some Aztec god from the ashes. We don't know 100% sure, but it's an interesting spoiler if you're into that kind of stuff. Okay, in other entertainment news, let's see. Flash. The Flash finally got a pair of directors. Hopefully they're going to stay this time. Cross our fingers.
For how long?
Cross our fingers this time. Dun, dun, dun. We have John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. They have been tapped to direct the upcoming Flashpoint film. And we're hoping they stick around because there have been a slew of other directors, including Chris Miller, Phil Lord, Seth Graham-Smith, Rick Flower, Robert Zemeckis, Matthew Vaughn, Sam Raimi. We're all potentially going to replace those directors. But we got these two guys who've made such films as Vacation and Game Night, which is something that's still upcoming. Horrible Bosses, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, and The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. So there are a couple comedy directors, which is kind of what The Flash is in this particular interview. He's definitely a comedy element. So hopefully that will work out for them. So,
who do you think there would be for his villain?
For him?
Yeah.
Reverse Flash. I don't see anybody else besides. I mean that's what the Flashpoint series is. Like, the Reverse Flash comes in, he does something bad, and Flash decides, I'm so tired of this. I'm gonna go back in time and change things for the better, so I don't have to deal with this. And then there were just consequences. So I don't see. I mean, it could be Zoom. I think that's the name of the character, right? So he has plenty of other speedster villains, but I think those are going to be his foils. Like maybe someone goes back in the past to try to prevent him from changing things again. I don't know. But I'm hoping they keep that comedic element that kind of made the Justice League movie more entertaining than it would have been otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we got. Lindsay Lohan is back in the news. She is still just campaigning for that Batgirl role, if you can believe it. Her latest bid had her posting a picture on Twitter with her and a picture of Batgirl that kind of looked like her. It might have been fan art of her as Batgirl. And she was also completing on Wendy Williams this week, that her campaign to get the role has been stifled because she's famous and because people keep bringing up her past life mistakes, and it quote unquote distracts from maybe meeting with people to do Batgirl.
No, give a new girl a chance, because with her, oh my God. Remember that once? Oh, I don't know if you've ever remembered, but there was a very short period of time when Michelle Pfeiffer was going to be Catwoman in the Batman Returns movie, the Tim Burton one. But there was the original Batman 66, Julie Newmar, wanted to be
like Michelle Pfeiffer is Catwoman in Batman Returns.
But
I mean before that.
Julie Newmar, the Catwoman from Batman 66, wanted the role, and she was just doing, "Come on, Tim, I am Catwoman. I've been Catwoman." No, yeah.
She's also too old though. I mean, at that point, it's like asking, the original Batman to come in and like, no, we're kind of trying to move away from that particular concept and give us something new. So that would have been counterproductive at that point. But this same concept is like, oh, you've aged out a little bit, and you're definitely not of the most stellar reputation, I guess, at this point to be that particular character. And honestly, no one wants you, as far as I'm aware. Like if you look at that Twitter pictures response, there's plenty of they're like, yeah, you go, girl. But there are more of like, no way. And plenty of memes about, I don't think so kind of stuff.
It's just definitely an opportunity for a new face.
And then there are also like the memes like, oh no, this person would be better. And a lot of people saying, yeah, that would be better. Like Dallas, something, that girl from Jurassic Park, the Jurassic World movie, that redhead girl. They're like, yeah, she would make a good one. So I'm like, oh yeah, I guess. I'm still going for what's her name, the one we talked about last week.
God.
Yeah,
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Yeah,
I was gonna say Emma Stone. Emma Stone. She has the capability. If she doesn't play Batgirl, I could totally see her playing Poison Ivy.
That was also the thing people were putting on about.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about some more comic stuff. Superman is apparently getting his red chonies back.
Yay!
People were excited about it. He lost them about 7-8 years ago, in 2011 with the New 52, when the entire DC universe was rebooted again, and his suit went from like all blue basically with like a red belt to like be a Kryptonian kind of armor thing going on. I think they were supposed to try to tie it into the movies,
of course,
that were coming up. But now, with the episode number 1000 of Action Comics, they're giving Superman his red underwear back and a yellow belt. So, trying to hark back to those earlier times of fandom for the franchise. So, what do you think between the two looks, man?
Honestly, I missed the red panties. It was the thing. It was what thing made it. To me, it was like almost like the joke part about being a superhero wearing your underwear over your clothes kind of deal. And of course, the additional joke was like, why would he wear a belt to hold his underwear up?
Yeah, like what's he holding up? It's not like he has like secret gadgets that are like Batman or something.
Exactly. Then when of course they took it off, I'm like, all right. It kind of took some terms because I was so used to seeing the red panties, and it was weird just to see it just like slope down.
Yeah, looking at the second picture of like the New 52 version, it looks very action figure. Like that hip section is like very much like slotted to like fit for action figures.
Yeah.
And maybe that was part of the design, like, oh, this will match exactly what the kids are going to be buying, but also, hopefully that Christmas.
It was also a big marketing thing because remember Underoos? Underoos was a big thing. Everybody cashed in on wearing the Superman Underoos, Wonder Woman Underoos, Batman Underoos. But once he did away with those, it's like, what's the point of red underwear anymore?
Just because, I guess. I'm not like that. I'm personally a fan of the red underwear over the pants kind of thing, and the belt. It's very just classic looking. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's kind of what Superman. He's almost the Captain America of the DC universe, in that he stands for something that's kind of a timeless concept of like honor, truth, justice, the American way in a respect, I guess. Although they moved very much away from that into like a more global concept of like, truth, justice for the entire world kind of thing.
That was the
but yeah.
that was a little bit of, I noticed, an artistic trick with a lot of their famous characters. You notice that they always stick to the primary colors.
Yeah,
Optimus Prime, Captain America.
Well, at that point, it's for printing, because printing in primary colors is easier, and that was how it was done in the past. Because you could just like have 3 colors and mix them up for slight variety, but you couldn't go very far back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. So like I said, we're both fans of it though. Okay, in other comic news, apparently, Colossus and the other girl, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, they're getting hitched. Yay! Apparently, it's going to happen this June 2018. They're finally tying the knot. The more recent one is that Kitty Pryde is the one who proposed to him. And so the actual comic of episode number 20, X-Men Gold number 20, left off on the cliffhanger with him not actually responding. But then there was a video later released more recently saying that, oh, you're invited to the wedding of the century. And the thing it says, what could go wrong? Basically hinting at the fact that everything always goes wrong with these superhero weddings. I don't think I've read a single one where anything was perfect, whether it was Storm and the Black Panther or Jean Grey and Cyclops or anything else. It's just it's a gimmick. And, it works out sometimes it doesn't. Somebody's always murdered or some villain comes in. But this is like, it's very interesting, especially considering that she's getting her own, I believe, series as well. Remember, Kitty Pryde? We talked about live action television series, and we were just kind of wondering like what kind of storylines are going to be paired into that to carry for an entire series or movie. I'm like, well, this I guess could be one of them at some point.
Now, what do you think? Because obviously, there's been characters that hooked up and eventually had kids. What do you think their kid would consist of, especially power wise, since he turns into steel and she?
They're kind of opposite powers, which is I think where the connection is coming from. Like, oh yes, she can go through anything, and nothing can go through him except her.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking, obviously, if it becomes a boy or a girl or whatnot.
I think they'll probably go with something. They'll probably go with something like new, or like, I mean, whatever the fashion trend is. Whoever comes up with the coolest. But I'm able to make it like one of those comic like write-ins. Like, what do you think their kids' power should be? Write it to us on Marvel.
Yeah, because I like in the Young Avengers when they had their Storm and Black Panther. It was a boy that had cat like reflexes, but also with electricity. So it was like, all right,
so like a fast static shock.
Pretty much. It just didn't fly, but yeah.
It's like, that's not how genetics always works. I'm like, you don't just like mash powers and qualities together necessarily. Yeah. But okay, well, it's a comic.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see. Other unhinged news. Latest rumors that Spider-Man is actually going to be in the Venom film. Previous notes from the casting and from the director said Spider-Man is absolutely not going to be a part of this, even though they're all part of the same Sony universe. They really wanted this to be like its own thing. And Spider-Man was absolutely not going to show up. And the more recent rumors are that Tom Holland has been seen on set, hanging out for the last couple days. And apparently he's going to be making a cameo in the movie, which makes more sense than just trying to shoot a Venom film by itself. Because as familiar as people are with Spider-Man, Venom is less well known, even though he was part of the third film. Like a cool Venom, not as much. Like you definitely have to connect him to an existing franchise the same way that every other, Marvel film was connected to either Iron Man, and then they spun it off into, Thor, the Avengers, and everybody else.
Yeah, because Venom did not exist if it wasn't for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was the first one to don the symbiote.
You at least have to do a little bit of a backstory on where he came from. Otherwise, he's this murderous suit of blackness. Yeah. Why? Because.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you could go by about it if you actually had. Actually break down the story, give it like a proper origin.
Yeah, you have to tie it into Spider-Man, which is basically the point. I'm not sure where they're going to pull it from, but hey, if it works, it works. More than happy to see it go. And they actually might do. I would hope they would do like a backstory, like where they meet up again at some point in the future. If Venom does like really good at theaters, like then they do a combo film between Spider-Man and Venom. Either working together or working opposite of each other, or maybe like trying to kill Carnage together at some point. That would be kind of a cool like plan if that was the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Funko. This was a fun story, mostly for me because I think cool figures are cool. Funko has announced recently a new line of pop figures based on the original Jurassic Park movie. And a couple of them are definitely meme-tastic. They capture some of the most interesting moments in the movie, including what many call the sexy Jeff Goldblum. And also the fat guy who got what he deserved moment there. So what did you think of these, man?
I gotta give it a pop vinyl. They're the current toy trend, that's still popping them out, because there's been other ones. There's been like Mighty Mugs. Mighty Mugs pretty much kind of came and gone. All these other ones, they're actually coming out these weird little wood, pretty much little peg toys that they just paint the costume on, and they're trying to sell them off. Oh, it's a collectible now. But they actually got to the point that they're actually sculpting them out. They're giving them bodies. I've seen the ones where they actually even have vehicles. They had the like Marty McFly and Doc with the DeLorean. They have all these other ones that are cool. And for the longest time, I didn't know they were bobbleheads. Some of them were like legit bobbleheads. I was like, what? Until, you obviously had to take them out, and then you see the little spring action. Right. But I think that was the gimmick with the pop vinyls. Like, they were bobbleheads, and I guess they decided to make some of them sturdy and not be able to move around. But they were good. I even like, they even have, they created a blank pop vinyl. So if you wanted to make your own custom one, if you wanted to create your own, create your friend.
I think I've seen people, I've seen one of your comic book painter friends, he's done a couple of those.
Oh yeah,
when he had his store.
Oh yeah, and it's awesome. It's good to know. Like to see the dude. There is other company that are making your own custom one. Like, even with the package in the box, of course, costs a little bit of money. But if you want your literal own pop vinyl, it can be done.
It can be done.
Yeah, but I like it.
It's just like fun though to me. Like, instead of just them just being regular Dr. Michael Meyer, it's the sexy version. It's a legitimate scene in the movie, so it totally goes with the movie. And then there's just like, the fat guy right before he gets murdered. That's what that is.
Now, was there any like any ones that you would like to see come out? Like any movie character or anything that you think that
maybe small-handed Deadpool, like that scene like where he's just hanging out on the couch with like little baby hands and like the black electrum. I think that would be a fun little. I like that they're kind of going towards almost like diorama scenes.
Oh yeah,
I like the famous scenes from movies, because honestly, there's a ton of these figures. And
there's so many.
It's just like I've seen stores with like walls and walls of these things just stacked up, whether it's Frankenstein's or some other place.
My thing,
and it's just like, how do you differentiate? When they're literally just like the same poses, slightly different head. And so unless you're a fan of that particular thing, and the way you differentiate is like, okay, now you're doing action poses, and now you're doing like slightly different figures, like where there's scenes from the movie instead of just somebody standing there.
To me, they're pretty much the trading cards and the pogs of today. Yeah. They're just going to be taking up a space, and eventually it's going to die out, and you're going to be stuck with all these things. It's going to end up in the trash someday. But if you're going to be making one, especially a Jeff Goldblum one, I want to see him grossed out as the Fly.
I just realized you have the Bride of Frankenstein hairdo today.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There's definitely just like the
except
white
that it's
thing
not on the sides,
up.
but right here.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I dig it.
Yeah. So there you go. This is the Bride of Frankenstein episode number 100 and something.
Yeah, usually when my hair is like a little straighter or whatnot, still a little poofy, then especially when I had just that streak happening, I had the what do you call it? Sweeney Todd thing.
Oh, Sweeney Todd. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Bride of Frankenstein. It just looks fun in our camera.
I like it.
It's just like, the white streak just pops on.
Natural. I think I might intentionally dye everything else black and just leave that do its thing.
Would be great. Yeah. Okay. Other entertainment news, we have the Hollywood Reporter has said that the Bad Boys 2 series is in the works, and apparently I'm not gonna have bad boys though as much as bad girls. There's
the daughters.
The daughters, basically Gabrielle Union, her character Sid, is taking a job as an LAP detective, and this is from like the article. It's supposed to be a very female-driven show, and she's partnered with Nancy McKinnon, a working mom who can't help but look at Sid's freedom with some grass is greener envy. The two have a typically different lifestyles and approaches, but they're both at the top of their fields, and this is an action-packed, character-driven procedural. So Bad Boys, the TV show, is going to be a procedural with only one character you recognize, and everybody else is probably going to be different. That's kind of all they need, I guess. I'm sure that maybe, what's his name? Martin Lawrence is going to make a cameo if it goes forward.
They needed something, because that was the thing. They played so well off of each other. Will Smith being the straight man and Martin Lawrence being the comedian. But it worked so well. I was surprised. It was like a big budget movie. It was like, I was surprised they were giving, in my view, comedians that opportunity. They're like, all right, well, let's see what you guys really got.
It's a pretty big action film for Will Smith and Martin Lawrence at the time as well.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait to see how it checks out, because to me there was the one little clip that's been circulating a lot, and it was always hilarious to me, is where I guess the daughter was having a date, and the date came to the door, just like, oh, is so and so home? And they were just burning him, just sort of like, who are you, mother? That N-word, this and blah blah blah. And we're like, oh my god, they're just running off, and the kid just kept a straight face the whole time. He must have been on something or just very dedicated to being the straight man, because it was so funny. So funny.
Well, there you go. Hopefully the series is as entertaining. Okay.
Yeah, especially girls.
In some other entertainment news, we have a new Crocodile Dundee movie, and this is apparently no joke. This week, a surprise teaser hit the internet featuring Danny McBride as the son of the famous Outback hunter Crocodile Dundee. Again, people thought that this was like a big prank, but apparently Paul Hogan confirmed that this is an actual movie.
He's still alive?
He's actually in it. Yes, he's still alive. I don't think he's died yet.
Oh.
He looks as leathery as he did in the first film, so good for him. The synopsis for the film, though, Crocodile Dundee is back. Well, he's missing in the Outback, and the only person who might be able to find him is the loudmouth American son no one knew he had, played by, of course, Danny McBride. And there's a whole trailer, and it's semi-entertaining, but it's also kind of serious. And apparently we have to wait a few seconds for it to pop up. The Ready Player One movie looks awesome, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Totally. That one's going to do really well.
I would have rather watched that trailer a million times. But that's, that's it. So here we go. We see him in the Outback. He's wearing Crocodile Dundee-ish outfits, and he's like, yeah, how's it going, losers? You think that's a knife? This is a knife.
He's pretty much Danny McBride being,
pretending.
Yeah. And the whole thing, honestly, I thought it was like a Funny or Die sketch.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I'm like, ha, he's going to be, make fun of him. But
nope,
no, this is a real thing.
That's what they're moving with that franchise.
This is totally...
It honestly seems funnier than the last Crocodile Dundee, which was Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And did you know that Crocodile Dundee married that blonde girl in that movie, apparently?
Oh.
Yeah.
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Score.
Yeah, the thing is, with the whole setup and all that, this is totally going to be a straight to DVD in this case.
No, Well, this is summer 2018, so I mean, those movies were always low budget. They were never like huge special effects things, man. So it's like, oh, you can just have a guy fly to Australia, do some stuff, comedy relief things, and package it up. And
pretty much, you're going to see Danny McBride trying to mess around with the wilderness, and he's going to get beaten up and chewed up by kangaroos and gators and who knows what. Excuse me, what else?
Yep. So there you go. So fun. I mean, it looks fun to me. I definitely give it a shot when I saw it. Okay. We also have some sad news and cancellations. Amazon has been hitting the axe on some of those series originals that they've produced. The three latest that have got the axe include, One Mississippi, I Love Dick, and Jean-Claude Van Johnson. So we actually, the reason I popped this up is we recently started watching Jean-Claude Van Johnson. The first couple episodes are highly entertaining, at least for me. But I do get that it's a harder series to do more than one season of, because honestly relies a lot on like nostalgia jokes. And I thought it was hilarious. I think you did as well. My wife was like, who's never seen Jean-Claude Van Johnson? She's like, I don't get why you guys are laughing when he tries to do the splits and he can't. I'm like, okay. And when you have to explain the jokes to people
you're like, get out of the living room,
who are just like just hitting 30 because they weren't old enough to watch the original films, like you probably,
plus
you're relying on too much on nostalgia for a television show series. So I get that, but it's still sad to see potential entertaining films go. On the good news, The Tick got a second season renewal. So that's an amazing. That really is a great Amazon show. Like, it's entertaining. It's darker though, but it's also like makes you think at some point, is the Tick just in that guy's imagination, or is he real and is he not? And the fact that the series makes you think that for a little while is very, means it's very well written, at least to me.
It's just like Batman.
Yeah, kind of. Only not.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last little bit of entertainment news involves Karen Gillan. You might have seen her as Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, or in Doctor Who. She was also in that, and she's also more recently in that Jumanji film. She recently just did this fun video of her as a Pink Power Ranger, showing off her stuff, her kicks, her throws, and eventually some dance moves. It's entertaining. We're just going to show it to you real quick. Let's see. We'll play the music. They put me to get us with this one, though.
I got to give credit to her because, honestly, obviously because she has hair and everything, you wouldn't think that's Nebula. You think it'd be some just generic girl just like dressing up. But I wonder if I wouldn't doubt Amy Jo Johnson has gone back to her about that, especially if she put it on Twitter.
Well, no, she remember she shaved her head for that film. Like, she shaved her head for Nebula, and I remember her like revealing it at Comic-Con that she was wearing a red wig. And she threw it off, and she threw it in the audience like, I'm Nebula. oohs, and she was like, "Oh wait, I need that wig back. Can you just pass it back?" And it was so I'm like, she seems like she's very up for like these promotional things that are just goofy and funny, and
they're having fun.
I'm happy to see that she's just having fun with it.
Everybody that's doing any kind of superhero role, character, movie, whatever, it's the greatest time to be alive, to have fun doing a movie.
And you can be fun with it. I mean, I always hate to see like actors who get famous and just lose that sense of fun in their craft and what they do.
Yeah, unless you're doing a diehard serious role, like you're a dying cancer patient or something like that, then understandable if you want to get that Oscar nod. But if you're doing a superhero flick, have fun. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Also good for her. Okay, on to our movie trailer showdown. We don't have anything intro music for it, but let's see what we have. Nope, that's not it. Wrong button. Wrong button.
Let's create one. The MTS.
Ignore that music. We're not done yet, folks.
Yeah.
Sorry. Movie trailer showdown. That's where we grab the best trailers of the week and we discuss them and we look at them and we decide which one we like the best, which one wins the showdown. This week we have 5 new trailers for you folks, including, let's see, Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is, switch over. If you're not familiar with this particular movie or the video game franchise, where have you been for the last 20 years? This is actually a take on the latest reboot of that particular franchise, where it tries to make a little more survival-esque. It's a story of like a prequel Lara Croft, where she's a young, almost teenage girl. Her father's just died, and she isn't the professional Tomb Raider she is in the other movies and game franchises. Again, it does turn into like some survival aspects where she's using a bow and arrow, has to craft her own weapons, and jumps around an island in the video game. And this movie definitely, I think, captures those particular aspects. If you've ever played that video game, you're going to see a lot of like little nods to the game version of this movie, including like the way she's dressed, the almost exact representation, like where she's hurt and like dirtied up a little bit. But even like as she's running through the jungle, you see like very interesting, like yellow painted rocks, which is something from the video game. Like it shows like where she can climb from. So it's a very interesting trailer. What did you think of it, man?
It was cool, especially the action shots where she's like literally leaping in the air and whatnot. You think it was one of those cinematics for the video game for a while.
Yeah, they definitely got the way to make sure they capture that same feel.
But hopefully it doesn't deal with the whole curse of video game movies of not being that good.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the visuals go, like you see a lot of similarities, and that's not accidental. They really try to go their way to capture the same, almost exact places where the video game had her looking or injured or jumping through the jungle and those leaps and whatever. So they took a lot of time to do it. Now the question is it good or not? People liked the new Tomb Raider game. For the most part, like they enjoyed it more than they had in the past. The question is, does it translate to, of course, the movies? And we'll wait and see. Yeah. Okay, next trailer is going to be Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay. Now, this is not the next Suicide Squad movie, as much as it is an ad. Apparently, no, I mean it's the animated version.
Animated, yeah.
Yeah, it's the animated one, guys. So if you watch the original Suicide Squad movie, it was very entertaining, and it's very much a similar concept. In that first one, they were going after who were they going? I think they were trying to kill the Joker.
The first one,
they were breaking into Arkham to do something.
Yeah.
I think it was to kill the Joker because he had acknowledged like some super secret, stupid plot or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like an excuse to get a tie-in. This one seems to be they're going after Vandal Savage. And you have a bunch of characters, a lot of the same from the original, but the Bronze Tiger and Copperhead, I believe, are the new ones here. So they leave Killer Croc out of this. But you still have Harley Quinn, you have Deathstroke, and you have Captain Boomerang. Again, guys from the live action version as well. So they're trying to do that tying thing again. But again, this time they're after the immortal Vandal Savage, which is kind of weird because he's immortal.
Yeah, I was interested in the tie-in, but it's gonna be good. It still has the semi 2D traditional animation from the other animated ones. I wouldn't really compare that much to the Arkham Asylum one.
No, this one definitely is more out there. So like outdoors, you see the Banshee. You actually see some superheroes in this one as well, including I think they saw God, what's her name? The one that can take on the aspects of various animals. Vixen, yeah. Believe you see Vixen in this as well. Yeah, you even see X-23. If you notice that there, the one with the claws popping out.
Not really her, but
no, my mistake.
No, the part about the violence on it, I was surprised, especially if we might get up to it, where Killer Frost freezes one of the bad guys and Harley Quinn literally just knocks the head off. I was like, oh wow, okay, we're gonna go that.
I think the other one was R-rated as well. Like they were okay with blood and they had sex in there between Harley Quinn and Deathstroke. So yeah. Okay, before we vanish, our next trailer. This one is I believe it's a Japanese movie that so it's in English Japanese, it's English dubbed. Well, English dubbed, but it's English subtitled. So subbed. But it looks super cool. Like apparently aliens come in and instead of invading traditionally with like spaceships and dropping in themselves, they're taking over human bodies, but it's like a very select group of scouts almost. And then they go off and do things, like to prepare for like the larger invasion. But they're also like, they have apparently superhuman abilities as they inhabit their hosts, and they're willing to take pain and damage, and they're ignoring these things. But it's a very action-oriented kind of cool thing. But apparently also the government knows, and so they're secretly trying to find these same people and stop them from doing whatever they're doing. So that's also a mystery. But it's super action-oriented. Like it's a very cool concept, at least to me.
I almost had like I feel like it was going to be like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of deal.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was an interesting take on it because I was thinking, all right, you got your traditional little, Asian girl in her school outfit that's like ridiculously powered or awesome.
It's kind of a smaller version of the Invasion of the Body Snatchers if they were also like preparing for like a larger, like normal invasion, which is what's hinted at like at the very end when you see like the spaceships popping down. So I'm like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Pods.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, next one is Cold Skin. This is also a very odd film, at least to my opinion. A lot of the commentary has described it as a H.P. Lovecraft-esque movie, like where you have creatures from the deep popping up. What did you think of this one, man?
That one was trippy. I was thinking about like, is this like a weird take on the Aquaman flick or something? It was like, almost, yeah. It was like the water people of Avatar. Pretty much. Sort
of. Yeah. I would think of them more as, what's his name? Sapien from Hellboy. That kind of character. Mm-hmm. Where they're fish people with things, and they pop up, and it's almost like a zombie invasion version of that particular storyline, and it's set 1914, so it's also a period piece. There's a little bit of a, man on an island isolation kind of thing, where he might just be going crazy or they might be going crazy together. And then later towards the end of the trailer, you see, them just fighting off waves and waves of these creatures. And like, that's definitely interesting. So,
and of course the connection where they meet that one like girl,
the one that he saved, one of the other guys, And last is The Death of Stalin. This one's a comedy, folks. Believe it or not, with the name like The Death of Stalin. It's 1953 Russia, and you have all these Russian people played by Americans and British people, and it's absolutely hilarious. Did you have a chance to watch this one?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird kind of take on it because I was thinking, I can't think of the actor's name, but I thought, there you go, him. I thought it was like a weird take of the Arrested Development kind of deal, like Arrested Development would mix with Stalin. Because it always had that feel. The only thing that was missing is their little like commentary of like, Stalin died, blah 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 blah. But they had little jokes here and there. I just wasn't sure where they're going. I'm like, so he's dead.
Yep.
And they're just trying to either cover up for him or how to break it down to everyone else. Like who's gonna rule this? Who's gonna run the show when your dictator's gone? I'm surprised nobody's like, fighting for the position. They were all kind of scared because like whoever's willing to stand up against will usually get taken out. Yeah,
but it's also, again, this is a comedy, folks. So nothing's super serious. A lot of this is probably just going to be fabrication, like, things in events. Just a giant laugh fest, apparently. Yeah. Like all the little things that say, terrific, hilarious, various like film of the year from The Guardian kind of stuff. It's a lot of it's promotional stuff like in that version. So it's also a period piece. I hope it's as entertaining as it looks. So there you go. So those are our 5 trailers, folks. Tomb Raider, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, Before We Vanish, Cold Skin, and The Death of Stalin. So of these 5, man, which ones would you choose as the best?
I'm going with Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, okay. I understand you. Very cool. I'm going to go with Before We Vanish. I just thought it was so interesting. I'm into foreign films with subtitles. I'm cool with that. So I don't have an issue with like reading. And I think it was just like such a unique storytelling opportunity, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but also like, a secret mission prepared team and what they can do that's better than humans. I'm like, that has my interest, at least.
Yeah.
Everything else is not bad. Cold Skin kind of came in second for me. And then Death of Stalin because it's just funny. And I've kind of seen Suicide Squad before, and I don't expect it to be that different from what you've seen either in the movie or in the other animated film.
No, to me, I was just like wanting to see more Harley Quinn. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, so there you go. We have our answer. So, and that's actually it for the show. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us, for watching and listening. Remember, you can always check out our video version of this on our webpage or on our Facebook page at Geek Best Podcast. And if you like the show, if you want to help support us in any way, shape, or form, you can find out all the ways you do so at
geekbytespodcast.com/support.
There you go. Thanks again for watching and listening. I am Ramon Mejia.
I'm Edgardo Acosta.
And remember, folks, to go geek out about something. This is the real one.